Hey everybody, stay tuned in this video where I'm going to be giving a roundup of the Azure news that's been happening this week and also a summary of what I've been up to. Everybody, thank you for tuning into this weekly update from myself, Sarah Lean. So first of all, I want to kick off with the Azure news that's been happening this week, and we saw the team announce that we're going to be finishing our Swedish data centre region by 2021, and this is an ambitious project where it is going to be the most sustainable in terms of environmentally friendly data centre that we've ever had at Microsoft. So I'm super excited to see where we're going with that and find out more details about that project. Now, the data centre region isn't just about Azure. It's going to be able to host all of the services that Microsoft have in the cloud. So M365, Power Apps, Dynamics, those will all be able to be hosted in that data centre as well. So hopefully it will enable a lot more Swedish companies to be able to use that data centre and move potentially to that. And importantly for Europeans, the data centre is going to be fully GDPR compliant. Now, another bit of news that the team released is that the Cloud Shell is getting an update within the Azure portal. The Cloud Shell is built on a Ubuntu 16.04 image, I believe, and it's becoming end of life or end of support now, and a lot of the tools embedded into that Cloud Shell image are getting a bit of out of date and need an update as well. So the team are working on rolling out a new version of the Cloud Shell using the Debian 10, I think it is, image, and embedding extra support for some of the tools that we have within Cloud Shell. So I think we're going to see PowerShell 7.1 support, Python 3.7, and I think it's Ruby 2.5 support when that rolls out as well. So I'll drop some links in the description below and we'll get more information around that, but look out for that happening within your Cloud Shell soon. Last bit of Azure news that I want to cover is that we now have support within ARM templates to deploy or enable backups for your Azure file shares using Azure Backup. So if you have that in your environment and you're looking to maybe automate it, you're looking to build it within your infrastructure as code setup, then definitely have a look at that again. The more information will be in the description below, so make sure you click on them. Now, in terms of me, I have been quite busy this week. So I was presenting at the UK Cloud Infrastructure User Group, which is usually based in London. And I was practicing and finalising my presentation on Sunday night when my laptop completely barfed on me. It was running really slow. It wasn't saving things. It wasn't pushing things up to OneDrive like I would expect it to. And then it started to blue screen on me twice. So I thought, no, can't deal with this, going to have to re-image it. So like a lot of companies, what we have as employees at Microsoft is the ability to rebuild our own laptops, and when we get to the screen where it asks us about our credentials, we put in our Microsoft credentials, and then the laptop goes away and kicks into autopilot, and autopilot starts to put on policies and configuration, potentially even software on our laptop, and then help us get back into that mindset without having to actually go to an office, plug in that cable, network cable, domain join, all of that kind of stuff. Autopilot helps configure us without actually having to go to an office. Now, the first time I did this, when I got to the desktop, my VPN wasn't connected and I couldn't access any company resources because my laptop just wasn't compliant with the policies that we have, the conditional access policies, and I couldn't access anything. So I tried the traditional route of rebooting it. Didn't work. I tried, reconnecting the Wi-Fi, disconnecting the Wi-Fi, putting in a wired connection, leaving it for a little while, went and watched some TV, came back, still wasn't working. At this point, I was starting to get a bit panicky because it was Sunday night. I was starting to get panicky about the presentation, starting to get panicky about the rest of the work that I had upcoming this weekend during the week if my laptop wasn't working. So I rebuilt it again. And this time, thankfully, once it went through the process, the VPN actually connected and I was able to access all of my resources again. So crisis averted, and I managed to deliver the presentation. Hopefully everybody enjoyed it. I will post a link to the recording if you missed it. And yeah, I've managed to get my work done this week and my laptop's rebuilt as well. I used, and I wrote a blog about this, Chocolatey to install all of the other bits of software that I needed, all the little tools that help me on my day-to-day job. And I use Chocolatey because I can kind of automate it. I have a little script that installs Chocolatey and then it installs all the other packages. So I can kick it off and then come back in an hour or whenever and everything's installed, rather than me hunting down download files, then having to walk through the wizards and then, just going through all of that process. And I had some great support from Twitter about me actually using Chocolatey. Lots of suggestions about how good Chocolatey is, lots of suggestions about how I can use an additional bit of software on top of Chocolatey to make it even more quicker and more reliable. I had suggestions about other packages and other questions about it. Lots of great suggestions, so thank you to everybody that inputted into that. I personally love Chocolatey just because it's so easy to use. I don't really have to learn a lot. I have lots of scripts around what I want to install, so I have little scripts for lab environments, things that I want installed on my lab servers or lab desktops that I fire up. I have a script for my working laptop and working desktops that I want to install. And these other tools that everybody suggested sound fantastic, and I'll try and get a chance to try them out and see how they compare to Chocolatey. For me, because I was in a rush, I was starting to panic and I knew Chocolatey would work. It was the easiest solution and the best solution for me. If you are not obviously time constrained, having a look at the different software packages and installers that are out there are absolutely a good idea to do. And I'll probably do it now that I'm not panicking and my laptop's built up. But yeah, that's kind of been the frustration at the start of this week for me. But like I said, thank you to everybody that made some suggestions, and I will be looking back and trying to feedback on the suggestions that I've been given. Now, if you've been watching these regular updates or even tuning in doing the podcast, where I have an audio only podcast, you'll know that I've been working on a video series with some of the marketing team here at Microsoft over the last couple of weeks. And I'm pleased to say that the videos are now out. What I'll do is I'll post a little link. I never know which corner is going to appear in on the video, but if you're watching the video, there'll be a link on screen. If you're listening to the podcast, I'll put a link in the description box of the podcast. But the videos are about the cloud adoption framework, and I interview the cloud adoption framework experts at Microsoft, and we tackle some of the common questions or obstacles that customers ask us, and we can use the cloud adoption framework to tackle them. So we talk about cost management, we talk about enterprise scale landing zones, we talk about what a landing zone is and how you can pick the right one, what happens if you pick the wrong one. We talk about deployment acceleration, we talk about governance, we talk about assessments, we talk about the whole journey. So hopefully there's a video that can help you and your organisation on your cloud adoption journey. So like I said, please do check that out and let me know if there's any feedback, any questions. I think we might be planning more videos in that series. So if there's a topic you want us to cover or something you'd like to ask, then please do feed that in and we will take that on board and try and push that into any future videos that we're doing. I've also been filming some videos this week, so I am doing some videos for my team YouTube channel, which we're going to be talking about the Azure Unblogged series. So my colleague Thomas Miller started a vlog series, called Azure Unblogged, and I am reigniting it before the end of 2020. So there's going to be some new videos coming out around that. I'll just tease that they're coming out, so make sure you head over to our channel, subscribe to that, and so you can get some notifications about that as well. Now, one last bit of personal news that I wanted to talk about is that I'm actually after a second-hand GoPro. I've always fancied a GoPro camera, I've always wanted one, I've never been able to justify the cost and expense of it, but I think I'm going to try and treat myself by getting a GoPro camera. I am going to look at the second-hand market just because, again, I'm not entirely sure I'm going to use it fully, but I'd love to have the option. So if anybody's got any recommendations, thoughts about it, if you're maybe potentially looking to sell one, please do get in touch with me. But yeah, I am looking to treat myself before the end of the year. So yeah, that's something exciting that I'm hoping to do. And hopefully I'll be able to use the GoPro not only to enhance maybe these vlogs, other videos that I shoot, but also do something more fun with some of the walks that I do within Scotland and show you some of the scenery within Scotland if you'd love to see that. So yeah, that's me for this week. I am off to, finish up for the week, and I will catch you in the next week. So have a good one, everybody.